Here we go again. You know, I wasn't going to do a video on this, but some of you guys feel like I need to address this. And listen, I feel like we've all beaten this horse so many times, and here's what I'll tell you. This is one of those things that require us to vote a certain way. If we keep you know who out of office for the next 4 terms, I'll be excited about this. But I'm telling you right now, we know that's gonna be hard to do because look at the media. Remember this, always remember what they told us just a few years ago.
My mask protects you, your mask protects me.
And remember, people took that at face value. People legit cut their family off for that because they wouldn't wear masks. I'm just saying, if you don't like political stuff, you don't want to watch this video because I'm gonna get political here. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the articles that we have. Obviously, you guys saw Zeldin made a comment about deregulations, the biggest we've ever seen, and he ain't lying. There's a lot of deregulation here. There's so much to say and not enough time. But I'm gonna go as fast as I can because I really wish that we could come together. I do wish that. I think that this should be a light that we shine on just the amount of waste that we've seen in this country. I know a lot of people are against Doge, but one thing I have to say, this is the last political thing I'll say off the topic of cars. I understand that a lot of people in the government are losing their jobs, but if the government is inflated, if you have all these contracts of people working there and we don't need these people working there, why continue to pay these people and have them work for the government? There's other jobs out there. They may not be as advantageous as working for the government and have the great benefits, but it's a waste if we don't need all these people, right? Remember, back on the pandemic, if someone didn't want to get the Fauci ouchie, literally, they lost their job. So remember service members, right? Firefighters, nurses. No one was complaining about that on the left. They were just saying, well, if you're dumb enough to not get the job and lose your job, so be it. But here we go. We clearly see waste and people have a problem with it. Just saying here, what about airplanes? Airplanes put out a lot of pollution, even to this day. How often is the EPA adding mandates on airplanes? How many airplanes fly in a day? Now I understand airplanes are more efficient compared to the planes from the past, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And they do put out less emissions, but how often are they continuing to add emissions controls? What about cruise ships? Do cruise ships have strict emission controls? They have. I believe they have diesel engines in those. Why haven't they made those electric? Just saying, if this is such a big mandate, why are they not waterfalling this down to everything? What about yours truly, government vehicles that are diesel? The car that Joe Biden was riding in, that Cadillac, I can't remember the name of it, that had a diesel engine in it. I think it had a Duramax. And guess what? That car was deleted, meaning it had block-off plates to it. So again, if they don't have to have stuff on the Humvees and everything else that has diesel engines, why do we? There's literally block-off plates from the manufacturers, Ford, GM. I'm not sure if Ram has it, but I don't see a lot of Rams in government vehicles. But my point is, when you see these vehicles, they don't have emissions control. Why is that? I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. Common sense says, if you really care about the environment, you would care and start where we can see it. See, you always go after the low-hanging fruit first, but the left and the right, we all have a difference of what low-hanging fruit is. For me, low-hanging fruit is pollution. Look at the cities. Look how dirty the cities are. Look at all the trash, the filth, the waste on the streets. Look at how dirty the areas are. Why not start there first and make a big difference in the cities, and then that's what you show people. Look at what the EPA has done, because then we can see what's actually happening. We don't see diesel soot. Yes, you can smell it, but I mean, when people fart, you smell that too. So what's the difference? I mean, I like the smell of diesel. I don't like the smell of someone's fart. Now, this next clip we're going to watch, I want to show you guys the news that we heard. This is why everyone is so excited. And I'm going to give you guys my impressions too. So let's take a quick peek.
The largest deregulatory announcement in U.S. history. The Environmental Protection Agency is initiating 31 historic actions to fulfill President Trump's promise to unleash American energy, revitalize our auto industry, restore the rule of law, and give power back to the states. EPA will be reconsidering many suffocating rules that restrict nearly every sector of our economy and cost Americans trillions of dollars.
So real quickly, I wanted to respond to that. When you think about all of this restrictions that we have on our vehicles, 9 times out of 10, or hold on, I said 9 times, 10 times out of 10, anything the government puts on companies, especially the automotive companies, what normally happens? They pass that on to the consumer. So when we buy our trucks and they have all this emissions control crap on it, who's paying for it? Why have the trucks going up so much in price? It's because of the emissions control standards and the regulations that they have to follow under that previous regime. See, it makes everything more expensive for everybody. Think about the guys who are owner-operator who deliver goods and services in our country, our semi-trucks. They have to raise their prices, obviously, because now they're having to put an additional cost in their truck known as DEF, excuse me. I was going to say DPF. That costs money too, because when that thing gets dirty, it has to spit diesel in there to clean it. So again, those are two costs that they didn't have 20 years ago, right? So again, look at how this is going to overall help the economy. Now, here's what I'll say. The automotive companies have to do their part. If they do deregulate and no longer have to have all these emission control features, maybe, just maybe, they can lower the price of these trucks. Now, that would hurt me too, because I own a truck now, but I can keep my truck and just delete it, right? So I know that this won't happen overnight, and that's the sad thing about all this. Like I said earlier in this video, we got to keep Republicans in office for the next 4, 5, 6 terms, because in time, they could start rolling back some of these things. Now, obviously, if you put the wrong Republican in there who's just pretending, you know, they can always bring back emissions too. So it could still happen on either side of the fence. But you know for a fact on the left side of the fence, they're going to bring it back.
Our actions include the Biden administration's deeply flawed Clean Power Plan 2.0, mercury and air toxic standards, Quado BC, particulate matter 2.5, light, medium, and heavy car and truck rules, NESHAPs, and the so-called social cost of carbon. To advance cooperative federalism, EPA will partner with states that were universally rejected by the last administration's Good Neighbor rule. Among many other actions, today's momentous day also includes the 2009 endangerment finding, along with all actions that rely on it. I've been told the endangerment finding is considered the holy grail of the climate change religion. For me, the U.S. Constitution and the laws of this nation will be strictly interpreted and followed. No exceptions. Today, the Green New scam ends as the EPA does its part to usher in the golden age of American success. Our actions will lower the cost of living by making it more affordable to purchase a car, heat your home, and operate a business. Jobs will be created, especially in the U.S. auto industry, and our nation will become stronger for it. From the campaign trail to day one and beyond.
We'll stop there because I think that kind of answers a lot of the things. So you guys heard him talk about, and really, it's really the Chevron deference. So the EPA was allowed to interpret the law how they saw fit and create laws, not going through legislation to do so. So they could literally, boom, start rolling out stuff and going after companies like they did, suing them for millions and millions of dollars. Small businesses too. So guys that were out there selling delete kits, they were going after them for millions of dollars, right? Small businesses, American businesses. And that to me was a defining moment. When I really read through the Chevron deference, it really did shock me the type of power these people had that they should not have had. And yes, even for us, Republicans, I mean, they have to go through the due process. It's going to take time for them to be able to roll back emissions control. See, I think that it should be an option. I know that there's guys out there who buy these trucks who do want emissions control. So make it an option for the truck. That's how I look at it. Make it an option. And let's see if these true tree huggers are going to continue to buy these trucks. I doubt they will. Because again, they're not going to want to pay the extra cost. But see, that's the problem I have with the left is you're willing to make everyone do what you want. But if the majority won't do it, you're not going to do it either. And that's what sucks is I just feel like that's why these people should not be able to make decisions. We got to keep them out of office. We really do. I'm just saying, because when you tell me something that I've known for years and years that it's not true anymore, that it's just somehow changed, I'm supposed to get behind you and support that? Heck no. I'm going to read a article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously, but on MSN.com, they did have an article, very biased news, obviously, but I want to get their point of view too, because I don't want to just have a one-sided point of view. So here's something that says here, it talks about vehicle emission standards. Zeldin also took aim at Biden-era vehicle standards, saying the EPA would terminate the tailpipe emissions regulations announced by the previous administration last year. While the Trump administration has repeatedly referred to these standards as an EV mandate, there was no such mandate put in place by the Biden administration. See, again, they're taking sides here. The Biden Environmental Protection Agency implemented tailpipe emission standards last March that established an average of allowed emissions across a vehicle manufacturer's entire fleet of offered vehicles. The standards would have only impacted cars from models 2027 to 2032 and allowed for a range of usable technologies, including fully electric cars, hybrids, and improved internal combustion engines. These standards apply to light and medium duty vehicles. A separate set of standards were released for heavy duty vehicles. It's a lot. It does talk about the endangerment finding. If you want, I'll pause so you can kind of get an idea what that is, because he mentioned that too. So that's a nice little quick read there. And this is what I want to show you guys here. Changes to the rules and regulations announced Wednesday will still have to go through the federal regulatory process and will likely have to stand up to numerous court challenges from environmental groups. However, today's flurry of actions make good on the president's campaign promises to gut many of the long-established rules and regulations initially created to protect our water, air, soil, and human health. In other words, promise made, promise kept. I hate defending Trump because I really feel like people are so biased that they can't have their own opinion about someone who they see working. This man last year had already said he was going to hire Elon Musk to come in and do Doge. Ain't nobody was fighting against him last year. But see, they are so used to, and I'm talking about the people on the left, they're so used to not, doing what they say they're going to do, that when Doge happened and they was going in there, now you got pushback. Remember, they put the economy, inflation, cost of living all on Trump as soon as he took office. On day one, they're like, look, see, he didn't do what he said he's going to do. But now you see him working and now you're trying to stop him. I don't get it. Like, pick a side. Do you want him to lower the cost, or do you want to just keep fighting him because he's working and he's doing more than what we saw the last 4 years? I just don't get it, man. It boggles my mind how crazy people are. Like, pick a side and stay on it. I have friends who I didn't beg them, but I literally I sent them stuff. When I was back in Maryland, I tried so hard to say, don't look at the news. Just read these articles. I was sending stuff to people. Seriously. And they just couldn't stand Trump because of the news and the media. And now, when I talk to some of these dudes, they're like, I can't believe people voted for Biden last 4 years. I'm like, bro, you did too. Stop lying. I remember who you voted for. Don't be trying to come in here like you voted the right way the first time. No, you don't get a pass. But you can make up for it now because, again, the next term and the next term will really matter who we vote for. And I'm not talking about just voting for Republican. You got to vote for the right ones too, because sometimes there's bad ones as well. So, again, if you have factual information about why your views against EPA or why your views for the EPA are valid, send it to me. I get sick and tired of people going into the comment section name calling. If you feel so strongly, I hate comment sections, honestly. I hate them. You know, I'm gonna probably start doing videos on our other channel about this. There needs to be lobbying on comment sections. I think a lot of these comments that people have been saying are bots. Number one, they are bots. And number two, they're putting Americans against each other. And this stupid media is a part of it. You know, I don't care your views. If you have views opposite of mine, bring them. I want to see your views. I'm not against what you believe. I'm not out here to like, no, you're wrong. Hey, let me see what you got. And I'll read it. And I'll, hey, take it at face value. Like, hey, this is good stuff. But it seems like people on the left, they shut down and then they just name call. Oh, you're xenophobe. You're homophobe. Okay, if that's what you think. But it's not the truth. I don't care about people coming to our country. I want them to come. We need people. But we need them to come the right way. If you want to be gay, ain't anybody stopping you. Who has stopped you so far? Trump been in office now, what, over 50 days? Who stopped you from being gay? Has democracy ended? They said that. Like, they make stuff up. They lie. And they call Trump a liar and people who are Republicans stupid. Remember that they're the most tolerant people until they don't get their way. See, I wasn't at the Capitol building on January 6th. I was home sleeping. Just saying. But I'm labeled as someone that was at the Capitol because I voted for Donald Trump. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, people call you names for whatever reason because of how you chose to vote. And my thing is, we need to come together. But the media won't let us because they keep telling us, don't come together, resist. You see that at the last address that Trump did. Resist, that's what they said. These are American people. Remember, they still won't drop January 6th. So again, if you have good information, factual information of why emissions should stay around, I mean, yes, I know you can smell diesel, but like I said, there's a lot of stuff you can smell too. I mean, there's still cancer in the world. This stuff has not, you know, again, you can't have data on this because we don't know. We don't really know what causes cancer. I mean, some people get cancer and they're the most healthiest people. Look at Steve Jobs. But that's all I got. I'm not going to harp on this anymore. But like, man, like, let's come together. A lot of these countries out here who don't like us, North Korea, China, I mean, are there people in those countries commenting on our videos, putting us up against each other? Think about that. We got to come together. It's not about Trump. Trump's going to be here for 4 years and he's gone. But we still got to come together as Americans. I mean, at some point, you just got to drop it. Like, the media got to drop this stuff, man. They keep going with this same rhetoric. And it's like, what has happened? Have women lost all rights? I mean, this is the stuff they've been saying. And it hasn't happened. Start doing your own research. Peace.